Welcome to First Sleep Aid, calm stories to help you unwind, learn, and fall asleep. From true crime to curious facts and thoughtful ideas, always softly spoken. Subscribe now and take a deep breath. You're in good hands. Okay, so today we're going to deep dive into one of those mysteries that just, keeps you up at night.
Oh, yeah.
Seemed like a good mystery, but so we're talking about Rudolf Diesel.
Ah, Rudolf Diesel.
Yeah. Obviously, we all know the engine, like such a transformative invention. Huge part of the industrial age.
It's true. His fingerprints are all over how we live today.
Right, exactly. But the weird thing is this guy who, invented this thing that changed the world. Like, he died in 1913, and nobody really knows what happened.
That's what makes it such a great mystery.
Right.
Like, he's such a big name with such a big invention, and yet we're still left wondering how he died over 100 years later.
Okay, so before we get into all the theories, let's just set the stage a little.
Yeah.
So it's September 29th, 1913, and Rudolf Diesel, he boards this steamer called the Dresden in Antwerp.
Okay.
And he's headed to London for this big meeting with the British Navy.
Interesting.
And they're interested in his engine technology, obviously,
Yeah.
For warships and stuff.
Especially submarines, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That was cutting edge stuff back then.
Oh, totally. And tensions are already rising in Europe. World War I is just a year away.
Oh, wow. So it's a really sensitive time.
Absolutely. The stakes are super high for this meeting.
I bet.
Okay, so the next morning, everyone's looking for Diesel, but he's gone, poof, vanished. Literally disappeared from his cabin.
No way.
And here's the thing that's just so weird.
Oh, yeah?
His bed hadn't been slept in, but his nightshirt was folded neatly on top.
Really?
Yeah, really neatly, he planned to come back and put it on again.
That is strange.
And get this,
Yeah.
His watch and all his personal stuff were laid out on the nightstand.
Huh. Like he was going to come right back and get him?
Exactly, none of it makes sense.
Yeah, that's super bizarre.
So about 10 days later, a body washes up in the North Sea.
Okay.
And it's so decomposed they can't tell who it is just by looking.
Oh, man.
But they find some stuff with the body, like a glasses case, a pen, a wallet.
Yay.
And Diesel's son identifies them as belonging to his dad.
So they figure it's him, and they bury the body at sea.
I mean, it makes sense, but still kind of unsettling.
Oh, for sure.
Especially since they couldn't actually confirm it was him.
Yeah, that always leaves that little shadow of doubt.
For sure.
Okay, so let's get into the theories, because there are a lot of them.
Oh, I bet this is where it gets juicy.
Exactly.
Planning.
So the first one, and probably the most popular one early on, was suicide.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, why do people think that?
Well, Diesel was in a ton of debt. He'd made some bad investments and was basically broke.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and right before he left for this trip, he gave his wife a bag with a bunch of documents and 20,000 marks in cash.
20,000 marks. Wow.
Yeah, and he told her not to open it for a week.
Okay.
And when they finally did open it, they found out just how bad his finances were.
Oh, so it was like a goodbye or something.
Yeah, and there's also this thing in his diary.
Oh, yeah. What about it?
So for the entry on September 29th, the day he boarded the Dresden, there's just an X.
Just an X.
That's it. And some people think it was his way of saying goodbye, like a final mark.
I see.
But there are some problems with the suicide theory.
Like what?
Well, why would he go to all the trouble of planning this big trip to London if he was just going to end it all?
Right. It doesn't really add up.
And remember, his stuff was all laid out so neatly.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Like someone who's about to jump off a ship doesn't usually bother folding their clothes.
Yeah, that's true.
So it seems unlikely he went to all that trouble if he was planning on taking his own life.
Agreed.
Okay, so another theory is that he fell overboard by accident.
I mean, it's possible, right?
It's possible, but there are some things that don't really fit.
Like what?
Well, the Dresden was a pretty modern ship for its time, and it had safety railings.
Okay.
Plus, the weather that night was calm, no big waves or anything.
Yeah, that does make it less likely.
And nobody on the ship reported hearing anything like a splash or someone yelling for help.
That's weird, right? You'd think someone would notice.
Yeah, exactly.
And wasn't Diesel a pretty careful guy?
Yeah, he was known to be pretty cautious, not the type to be hanging out on deck in the middle of the night.
So an accident seems less likely.
Exactly.
Okay, so what are some of the other theories?
All right, well, this is where things get really interesting.
Bomb all ears.
So one theory is that he was assassinated, killed by someone.
Whoa, okay, assassinated by who?
Well, there's this theory that the oil industry was behind it.
What? Okay, tell me more.
So think about it. Diesel's engine could run on basically anything like vegetable oil, even.
Yeah, that was a big deal.
A huge deal. And that meant it was a threat to the big oil companies like Standard Oil.
Ah, yeah, Rockefeller's empire.
Exactly. They were just starting to get really powerful, and Diesel's engine could have, like, totally disrupted their whole business.
Wow, yeah. I mean, if people could make their own fuel, why would they need Standard Oil?
Exactly. And there's no proof that they were involved. But it's interesting that after Diesel died, the focus shifted to using diesel engines for fossil fuels.
Hmm. Yeah, that's pretty suspicious timing. Okay, so big oil is one suspect. Who else is on the list?
Well, there's also the theory that it was a political assassination.
Oh man, like spies and stuff?
Exactly. So remember, Diesel was on his way to meet with the British Navy.
Yeah, about submarine engines.
Right. And this was right before World War I. Like, everyone's building up their weapons.
So basically, whoever controlled that engine technology had a huge advantage.
Huge.
Okay, so who would wanted him dead?
Well, maybe German intelligence saw him talking to the British as a threat.
Makes sense.
Or maybe some German nationalists didn't want this important technology going to another country.
Yeah, that's definitely plausible.
It was a crazy time, and there were a lot of people who might have wanted to silence him.
Yeah, especially with all that military tech involved.
Exactly.
All right, what else?
Okay, so this last one is a little out there.
Okay, lay it on me.
Some people think he faked his own death.
Wait, what? Like he just disappeared on purpose?
Yeah, like maybe he was tired of the debt, the pressure, everything, and just wanted a fresh start.
But wouldn't people recognize him?
Well, there have been stories over the years of people supposedly seeing him in different places,
Like where?
like Canada or South America, like way off the grid.
Interesting, but like how would he pull that off?
It would be super hard to fake your death and stay hidden, especially for someone as famous as Diesel.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, everyone knew his face.
So it's a fun theory, but probably not very likely.
Yeah, seems a bit far-fetched.
All right, so to recap, we've got suicide, accidental death assassination by big oil assassination by a government, and a faked death.
What a list.
Right. And we still don't know for sure what really happened.
I know it's crazy. We have all these clues, but no real answers.
It's true, and it makes you think about, like, why are we so fascinated by mysteries like this?
Yeah, why do we care so much about something that happened over 100 years ago?
Well, I think it's because it reminds us that even in a time of huge progress and invention, like, there are still things we don't know and maybe never will.
Yeah, and it also makes you think about all the crazy stuff that was going on back then, like the rise of big businesses, the arms race, all this tension and uncertainty.
Exactly, and Diesel was right in the middle of it all.
Yeah, with his engine that could have changed everything.
So even though we might never know how he died, his story is still relevant. Like, it makes us think about the power of technology, the forces that shape history, and the mysteries that might never be solved.
It's a good reminder that sometimes the most important stories are the ones that don't have a neat and tidy ending.